I just got a package with some new shoes. Hopefully they fit properly in the box. So here they are. Here's what the bottoms look like. Solid piece of rubber, which is always good. These are my new shoes for the day. I'm gonna go test them out and have some fun. So I'm pretty much finished for the day. Just got back from testing out my Asics GT2s for the first time, and they actually worked surprisingly well for not having been broken in yet. They were super comfortable, and the rubber was relatively grippy on most surfaces. At this point I would recommend them, but I'm going to give them a few more months to give my actual review on them on my main channel so that you can know if they're worth buying. Yo, what's up everyone? Ronnie here, and today we're going to be doing another shoe review, and these shoes we're doing a review on today are the Asics GT2s. Alright, I saw some other big parkour athletes wearing these shoes a while ago, and I decided I wanted to try them out myself. Since I tried them out, I'm going to do a review on them. They're a little bit harder to find nowadays, but you can definitely still find them online. They're the Asics GT2, so remember that. But otherwise, let's jump into the review. So, starting off, to give you kind of an overall idea, I really like these shoes. There wasn't any major things that I didn't like about them, but there's definitely things that did annoy me about them. I wouldn't say they're the best parkour shoe, but they're far from the worst. So, jumping into it, the number one thing on any parkour shoe is the sole or the grip, the traction. So here we go on the bottom of these. This is what they look like. They're actually, it's kind of weird. They're like 3 chunks, but I don't see any problem with that because they're still large enough pieces of rubber that I don't think it's ever going to really start ripping off. Maybe if you train for a really long time in them, it might start happening eventually, but I only been training in them for a few months and they're still holding up just fine on this end of it. Now, the actual grip of these things are great. They're like overall good and grippy to most surfaces. So like, they're not going to be amazing on any single surface like some shoes are, but they're good on handrails, good on walls, good on general surfaces. So you won't be disappointed there, but you do have to still just test them out on the surfaces because random surfaces tend to be slick with certain types of shoes. So the grip on these I would say are really good, all around grippy shoe. And that's the most important thing. So now that you know that, you don't need to watch the rest of this video, do you? Actually, there's some other things to keep in mind when buying these shoes. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the actual sole, the padding of these shoes. For me personally, and this is obviously preference, I like more minimalist shoes with a little bit of padding, not completely minimalist. These are definitely more padding than what I'm usually comfortable training in, but besides that, they're actually, you know, decent padding for beginners, or if that's what your preference is, it's a good amount of padding, but not so much that it feels like your feet are like wobbly on top of 2 bricks of rubber. So it's kind of a good middle ground, but still a little bit more padding than I prefer. What I do like about the build of these shoes, when I first put them on, straight out of the box, they were extremely comfortable, which isn't super common with shoes I've tried. I mean, most shoes aren't extremely uncomfortable, especially, you know, when you're talking about parkour shoes, running shoes, stuff like that, but these were surprisingly comfortable. They were like, felt really good to wear straight out of the box, so that's definitely a big bonus if you don't have to worry about breaking them in before they reach that sweet spot. They were actually very nice. One thing that did annoy me is on my first day of training, these little rubber lips on the toes started coming off, which isn't a huge problem. It definitely takes away from the look right away because it just doesn't look as cool. You probably could glue them on and it would last longer because I don't know how they were even sticking there before, but it doesn't seem like it's kept peeling. If it kept peeling down, then it would be a problem, but it's only the little tip that's come off, so mainly just for looks, it's kind of annoying. And I'm sure in the long run, after training in these for a really long time, it might affect it more. But for now, in the few months that I was training with them, it didn't have any problems with performance, but just something to keep in mind if you're going to get them. And maybe it's just these pair, maybe that doesn't happen to all of them, but just something to be aware of. What else you should know about these shoes is they're kind of average on the flexibility. They're not like super flexible like some shoes, and part of that has to do with the additional padding they have in the sole. But again, they're not awful. Like, you'll still be comfortable training in them and doing stuff, especially if you like doing a lot of big drops. Not that you should be always training big drops, but if you tend to do those and do lots of impacts on concrete, you know, it can help you out there, help kind of preserve your joints a little bit because of the impact it'll take away. But once again, minimalist shoes are good to train in and practice so that you can train proper technique, so you can learn how to properly distribute impacts. But anyways, it's all preference, so just keep that in mind. Otherwise, that's basically what I have to say about these shoes. They're a great overall parkour shoe. I wouldn't say they're my favorite, but they're definitely ones that I would buy again if I wanted a shoe that has a little bit more padding, especially when I'm doing free running or stunts for films or commercials. I would prefer a shoe with a little bit more padding, just because that'll help prevent bruising my heel or the ball of my foot, and that just is bad news if you're on set and you bruise your foot, and then it's hard for you to perform the rest of the day. And so normally I prefer training in minimalist shoes, but if I'm going to be doing a performance or a job or stunts or whatever, then I prefer more padding just to prevent injuries so that I can last longer while performing. So anyways, that's my overall view on these shoes. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of these shoes, if you've tried them out yourself. And if not, then feel free to check them out online. You can just probably Google search them and find them. And also let me know what other shoes you want me to do reviews on, because I'm always looking for new parkour shoes to try and always trying to find the best parkour shoe out there. So be sure to subscribe for more parkour and free running videos, and I have more tutorials and awesome videos coming out for you this year. So be sure to stay tuned for those. But otherwise, as always, thank you for watching.